Thanks everyone for signing in. You guys can get a lot of value out of this. Let me just start at high level. Let me go over the last 24 months of what's happening with our network partners, the markets that we connect to. Because a lot of people are asking of all the negative headlines going on, challenging housing market. As a real estate investor, how should we proceed? Let's go back in the past 24 months because there's so much misleading information. There's so much headlines out there that are reporting inaccurate data for the sake of clickbait. A lot of unscrupulous people out there try to distort the reality of the housing market. I'm going to provide some accurate data with some honest reporting and transparency just to refute all those doom and gloom negative headlines placed out there, which is more often than not are very inaccurate and incomplete. And it causes those YouTubers out there that on a daily basis report doom and gloom information, negative headlines on a daily basis, or people that subscribe to this kind of views, to this kind of YouTube channels, they are destroying their own American dream, meaning they will continue to be renters, and they will continue to not invest in the real estate market. And it is a very, very sad situation. So just go over our network market, the partners we have in specific markets, and then go over the market we've been working with for a number of years. Number one, Buffalo and Idaho, for New York, our network market there, and Alabama. Also, we have a network partner there, Spartan Invest. They represent turnkey properties in Alabama and Tennessee and Central Texas. We have Mr. Ken Benner, who represents turnkey properties in the Metro Central Texas, outside Austin, 1 hour north and below Austin, and also San Antonio, which is an hour and a half below Austin. We have properties available, very fast growing Central Texas, and 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 finally, we have properties all over Florida, which is my number one market. We have Southwest Florida partners there, in Cape Coral and the surrounding areas within 50-mile radius. And we have a new turnkey provider, Southern Impression Homes. Amazing turnkey provider in Central Florida, all over. Like they have like 7 locations where they have properties for our network. I'm so happy to introduce them. They have some amazing new construction properties, turnkey, good to rent, very, very high returns. So past 24 months, contrary to the so-called national media, what they've been reporting, our investors who purchased, the handful that who purchased, that is, out of a small percentage of the database, no different than any other group of investors out there. Most are paralyzed by fear, but those that purchased in the past 2 years have done extremely well. Our investors in Central Texas, right during the pandemic up until last year, or actually up until now, they have achieved at least 50 to 80% appreciation of the property they purchased. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, they purchased rental properties in Central Texas through our network for like 200,000, 250,000. Now, and rents for like 1,500. Now, fast forward a year and a half, they probably have some of the areas, some of the properties have doubled in value, 100% appreciation in a mere 2 years, from 250 to around 425K, just an average. By the way, again, contrary to all these real estate crash headlines and corruption, most of those properties that our investors continue to hold have not decreased in value. As a matter of fact, their rent has gone up from 1,500 a year and a half ago to right now, like 2,200, a massive increase of rent as well. So our investors that who purchase in Central Texas, not many, a handful of them, they have achieved 50 to 80% appreciation in about a year and a half, and their rent has gone up almost 50%. So they have achieved maximum cash flow and appreciation. And our investors are very, very happy, and they'll continue to hold the property long term. That's the beauty of it. In San Antonio, again, in Temple, Texas, and few other locations in the suburbs of Austin. So in Buffalo, Niagara Falls, Julie is one of them also. Julie and her husband Mark have purchased 6 turnkey cash flow properties in Buffalo, Niagara Falls in the past 2 years. Believe it or not, our investors, a number of them purchased in Buffalo, Niagara Falls their properties during the pandemic has increased anywhere from 10, 20, 30% appreciation. And the rent from the above the Niagara Falls properties have increased around 23 to 40% in rental increases. So even a Midwest market such as Buffalo Niagara Falls, our investors the past 2 years have significantly increased their returns there as well. And Alabama, same thing. Our turnkey provider started to invest. Several of our investors purchased a year ago, 2 years ago. Prices were at that time like $90,000, $100,000. Now, fast forward, they bought it for like $900 monthly rent. Those properties 2 years later, today, fast forward, they have increased like 10 to 20% in appreciation. And the rent has increased 20 to 30% in our network partner in Alabama and Tennessee with Spartan Invest and the great Marine McCann. They go to consultant there. And finally, in Florida, our investors purchased in Cape Coral, Southwest Florida, new construction 2 to 3 years ago. They bought it for $250K and the rent was $1,500. Today, those same properties have increased almost 100% in a mere 2 years. They bought it for like $250K 2 years ago. Now their property have increased to at least $400,000. And the rent they were collecting at that time, like $1,500 2 years ago. The new rent they're collecting on the average is around $22 to $2,500 in Cape Coral, Southwest Florida, new construction. And our investors will purchase in other areas of Central Florida, like Ocala and out north of Orlando and northern part of Tampa, then south of Jacksonville. Same scenario. 2 years ago, they purchased new construction for like $150K, rent for $1,500. Now those properties like $250,000 to $300,000, and the rent has increased from $1,500 to $22,000 to $2,100. So, having said that, this past 2 years was an anomaly, right? It's just a very unique times. It will never happen again. Because mortgage rate at that time were 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, around 3%. The supply of inventory were a mere 1 month to a month and a half supply of inventory. And the demand was through the roof at that time. Past performance is not an indication of future success. We won't have a crystal ball beyond today. All we can do is follow the trends. And my network, the US network, have pivoted as we always need to. So those markets that our investors purchased a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and before that, we can no longer continue to use those markets. We have to adapt. We have to move further inland. We have to move away from inner core. We have to move an hour away or 50 miles further out in all of Florida, find cheaper homes. And same thing with Texas, same thing with Alabama. We need to find a market that has the lowest affordability with the highest potential cash flows and make the numbers work. If you've been watching our daily email video newsletter, you'll clearly see the information. I know I put out a lot of contents out there to my database, to my network, and most of you are very, very busy. I haven't had a chance to watch those video newsletters. Each video to take about 20 minutes to watch, but if you have a chance, if you have the time, prioritize your time, go back to the recent videos and watch to see, learn, and educate and inform, because those are very real-time information. That's the big picture. The big picture is, again, contrary to alleged housing correction and housing prices going down, and it did not happen in any of our markets in the past 2 years. Even during the second half of last year, from June of 2022 to the end of the year, the 6 months time frame, where the mortgage rate skyrocketed from 3% to 7.3% the second half of last year, and when everybody's predicting housing crash, especially those crash bros. I call it crash bros. Crash porn, YouTube videos, they're all getting more clickbait, getting a lot of subscribers, a lot of views, because they want to report negative headlines that 40 housing crash everywhere, housing crash, down to 30, 40, 50% housing crash. It did not happen. In some areas, like in the West Coast, yes, we saw some corrections and reduction of home prices in the second half of last year, like 5, 10%. Like the Western region, like California, Boise, Idaho, and Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Austin, Texas. Yes, they have gone through some corrections, 10 to 15% housing reductions, because their home prices skyrocketed so much during the pandemic in 2021 and beginning of 2022. But even in those markets right now, they are recovering. Meaning, if you look at data or monitor all the websites, all the credible sources out there, or the news media, and according to Redfin, what are the sources that I use? Year to date, these past 6 months, home prices across nationwide past 6 months have increased 10% appreciation. Full figure. So all, all the prices that went down, especially in Western region, second half of last year, was more than made up year to date this year. To me, it's just a slight correction, but nationwide, okay, that's what's happening. But we all should know that there's no such thing as a national real estate market. Real estate market is hyper local. Again, all the houses that our investors have purchased last year, the year before, and years prior, those houses did not decrease in value. Either stay flat, short for short periods of time, for a few months, last year or so. Now the home prices have gone up again. And so that's the big picture. This is a review of our investors and our markets that we represent within our network. I'm happy to report that the network and the market that we promote are very healthy, very strong. The cash flow is not as high as we would like because the rental income is slowly catching up with the skyrocketing of food prices that has occurred in the past 2 years during the pandemic. Make no mistake about it, things are looking a lot better. And for the future, so in light of the very high mortgage rate, right now is sitting around a little bit under 7% nationwide, that is mortgage rate. But the expectation are the mortgage will continue to decrease gradually as the Federal Reserve are trying to stabilize the economy, get the inflation down to 2% rate. I don't know how soon that may happen, but many experts claim that the mortgage rate will slowly go down, maybe by the end of this year at 6%. And some housing experts predict next year, 2024, the mortgage rate may go down below 6%. Who knows? How does that relate to real estate investors? Real estate investors will play a different game. We are in a very strategic market. We have one Midwest market, Buffalo Niagara Falls. Ours has been stable, will continue to be stable. The market continue to do well, very stabilized market, very good cash flow. Appreciation may not be as strong as other emerging markets, but is a very good market for our investors that want to achieve cash flow quickly, fairly. And they have a short time horizon, 5 years to retirement, maybe. Perhaps they should buy in Buffalo Niagara Falls to get the higher cash flow, higher passive income. Now, in the rest of the market we represent, as you notice, the fastest growing area or for the future is South and Southeast. And we are clearly in those markets very, very seriously. Florida and Texas is my number one and number two. And that's the projection future of growth. That's the population growth, job growth, and migration growth is happening in Florida and in Texas for many, many years to come. And finally, right now, we are historical low supply of inventory nationwide, around 2.3% month of supply inventory, extremely low supply, as most mortgage holders still locked in at a historical low rate at 4%, 8%, 2.5%, and they're not moving. They're not going to move from a 3% mortgage and upgrade a home to move up to another home that have subject to 7% mortgage rate, essentially doubling their mortgage payment. So we have a lock-in effect with many mortgage buyers out there. So that create a extremely low supply inventory moving forward. And the demand is still pretty high. Even at 7% mortgage rate, the demand is still very high, although many people are priced out of the market, especially first home buyers out there. So as a result, there's a 40-year low in home affordability, and more people right now cannot qualify to get a mortgage. So the primary home buyers, by the way, primary owner occupied home buyers, we're having a historical low affordability, and we're the highest number of renters in history. We have become a renters nation. There are more people renting now than ever before in the history of America, in my estimation. So what does all this mean? All this means is our network investors, our core turnkey risk investors, those of you who are attending, and the 1,155 members on my database, You guys have a very, very different situation. Your buy box is very different. You are not a primary home buyer. You are a long-term turnkey investor. You have a very different buy box. Your qualification is totally different than those of a primary home buyer, owner occupied types. Totally different mindset. When you're buying homes that are less than 350,000, single family home, anywhere from 350K in Florida and Texas to Alabama, like 120K to 200K, and then Buffalo and Niagara Falls from 60,000 to 250,000, depending on if it's a single family home or triplex or fourplex. The numbers make sense. And the cash flow makes sense. The cap rate, the cash on cash return, the buy box is what it is. You don't need that much income. All you need like $60,000, $100,000 of W2 salary. That's all you need. You have a good credit of 700 FICO score or higher. As long as you have the down payment, you will have the down payment. You make moderate income, very good credit score. If you have the down payment available, that's it. You have the blueprint to take action to buy turnkey cash flow properties. And so that's a big picture. And so for people that want to wait, for investors like you guys want to wait for whatever reason, I don't know what you're waiting for, because some of our builders have an incentive. You're getting 4.99% 30-year fixed rate mortgage or 4.75% 10-year fixed rate adjustable available in our builders in Central Florida. I mean, these kind of mortgage rate, there's no point in waiting. For people that are waiting, what's going to happen when the mortgage rate, for investors that are waiting, when the mortgage rate comes down to 6%, there'll be a buyer frenzy. The property that you could have right now, that we have current offerings from our network markets, if you want to wait for the mortgage rate to come down from 6% to 5%, or if you want to wait for the housing crash to occur, well, guess what? You're in for a rude awakening. Not only housing crash is not happening, we're seeing already bidding wars and multiple offers in many markets throughout the country, 5 to 10 offers per house right now, even with high mortgage rate. Home prices are moving steadily up throughout this year so far. So as an investor, you have to understand, wait until the mortgage rate comes down. Guess what? There's a whole bunch of other people also rating, not just you. But if you went to 5%, or 6%, or even 5.5%, what's going to happen? You're competing against other investors in the future. There'll be a frenzy, not similar to 2021, and you're never going to see 2021 again. Skyrocketing home prices is a once in a lifetime anomaly in 2021 and part of 2022. If you wait, the home that you want, you're competing against other people, the prices will be higher. The house you want may not be available anymore. You're going to be go through the stress all over again. You're trying to outbid against each other. You're going to overbid. Then you're going to forego inspection. You're going to forego appraisal. You're going to forego all those important things you need to do in order to buy an investment property. So clearly, it does not make sense to wait, right? Because you buy now and you buy real estate and wait instead of wait to buy real estate. So I say, not only that, for any kind of investors that who qualify right now, have the money financially, and qualify to buy investment property, buy box that we have within our network. Wait, again, cannot time the market. If you're trying to time the market, you're not going to be successful. The people who wait, what's going to happen? You are foregoing the opportunity to get the cash flow now. When you buy property now, even the cash flow may not be all that high compared to the past, you are making money in 5 different ways. By now, your equity property may increase value. You should increase, especially in the market that we are promoting. You're getting appreciation. You're getting cash flow on a monthly basis. You're getting great tax benefit. I'm going to talk more about tax benefits for the next few weeks. I'm going to produce a lot of videos for my network and for the YouTube channel. Amazing tax benefit on Julie. You're watching right now. I'm co-promoting a video about taxes someday. So it'll be out there to the YouTube world and to my network about a week. So tax benefit is amazing. You can save so much money just by one rental property. I will show you how to do it through my education. You're missing the ability of your tenants to pay down your mortgage, to pay down your debt, and you're financing through the power of a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, which is the eighth wonder of the world. No other country in the world have as greatest benefit as a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So as an investor, when you buy one single family home historically is the best performing asset. Single family home, up to 4 unit. If you think about it, single family home, duplex, triplex, and fourplex, your 1 to 4 unit, you qualify for Fannie Mae lending guidelines. This is the best type of lending options out there. 1 to 4 units, the best. 30-year fixed rate mortgage. There's no other investment product get this benefit. It's just totally amazing. So there you go. The cost of waiting is catastrophic. Most people, when they wait, because they have a lot of fear. The the biggest fear for human being, the fear of public speaking, the fear of dying, and third, fear of buying a rental property, especially out of state. Those are three main fear of a human being. I just added the third one. So that's my high level overall each. When you buy in also long term, your cash flow will increase because your rent going to increase in line with inflation. That's how it is. Inflation will make you rich. Okay. Inflation, you think the government definition of inflation, the CPI, consumer price index, is, I don't know right now, like 7-8%. But the real inflation is probably double digit, probably 10%. Or let's go out shopping. Let's go shopping for an egg or shopping for a vehicle or shopping for any kind of groceries. Have you seen the skyrocket cost in the past couple of years? Inflation will destroy your purchasing power unless you invest in assets that beats inflation. A 30-year rate mortgage will beat inflation. Inflation alone will cause your rental property to increase in value. Be just like that, buy and hold. You need to have a 10-year discipline. You're not going to get the full benefit of real estate property. Probably not in year one, not in year two. You may get lucky. Yeah, you may get some nice benefit depending on where you buy and how the market goes in the next few years. But you need to have at least 10-year discipline, patience, because over time, you can go through some obstacles, through some vacancies and maintenance issues. It may affect you. So you got to stay the course, overcome those emotional issues. You can stay the course and overcome all those issues associated with buying rental property. You can be fine. Some investors that I know that I track over the years, they have the financial means to buy property. It's a slam dunk, especially more than 2 years ago when it's so easy to buy. Right now it's more volatility, more challenge, and especially in light of what's going on in the economy. But prior to these past 2 years, it was very easy to buy for our investors, slam dunk. But what I noticed, just because financially you can afford to buy, it does not mean you can succeed in this investing world. I see it more often than not. Some of our investors buy 1 or 2 properties. They emotionally, they just not prepared mentally to overcome the issues that come along with a property. With any signs of negativity, any signs of stress, like a vacancy or maintenance issues or whatever, they can't handle it. And they get paralyzed. They get scared and they say, oh, risk investing is not for me. So and they exit, they sell the property prematurely. They couldn't handle. You have to show a lot of discipline with to overcome a lot of issues. You have to stay the course, stay for long term. Don't sell, try to work out the problem, stay the course. Often 5th and 6th and 7th year, you realize, wow, now I know how this investment works. The longer you hold the property, the more benefit you're going to get. There's a lot of signals out there that may cause you to exit, to just quit, even if you have only 1, 2, or 3 rental properties. That's what I've seen. I track my investors over the years. More too often, they quit. They sell their properties. They can't handle it. Even though their properties managed by professional property managers, we have some great property managers in our network. It's not like you are doing everything yourself. You're not managing the property. A professional manager is doing everything for you. I could easily give you an example. Some of our investors have purchased 5, 10, 20 properties over the years, and they still have them. And I ask them, how often you spend time taking care of your properties per week or per month? And they tell me 1 hour. I say 1 hour per week? No, 1 hour per month. That's all the time they spent in so-called managing their real estate portfolio. And they have 10, 20, 30 turnkey rental properties. See how working smart, not working hard? You delegate everything to the turnkey provider within our system. Imagine you managing your own properties, doing everything yourself. You could be stressed out. You can't scale. You can't buy more than 1 or 2. Do everything yourself, manage your own property or pre-screen the properties or dealing with the stressful evictions and fix up the property yourself. It just doesn't make sense. Don't do that. Just delegate everything to other professionals while you can fill up your time to do things that are important to you, like taking care of your family, go on vacations, or engage in some hobbies, and let others let your tenants make you rich because the tenant essentially are making you rich. If you buy in a good area like in Florida and Texas, there's a chance that in the next 10 years, all you're going to have like 3 or 4 tenants. That's it. Each tenant will stay at your rental property for 2 or 3 years. Just do the math. It's simple. Just let the tenant, the gross rent you're collecting, or more than enough per month to pay down all your debt service, your mortgages, your taxes, insurance, property management fee, 5% vacancy, and 5% maintenance. And still have something left over at the end of the month with the positive cash flow. Positive cash flow, what is one component? Other component is massive tax benefit you can receive. It can reduce your taxes tremendously depending on your situation. Of course, you're technically pay down the mortgage can be decreased. So your loan to value increase because if your property increase 5% annually and your loan balance gets reduced by the tenant's mortgage payment, you have more equity down the road. Then cash flow increase. And it's a income property is a multi-dimensional asset. There's no other asset class that can even come close to owning a income property long term. So for people out there who are so fearful right now, way too many people are just overwhelmed. They can't handle it. Mentally, they don't have it with them. Too many investors, they're not real investors. They want to buy rental property. It's much more than wanting. You gotta have a behavior. You got the right mindset. You have to overcome fear. Those are not easy. That's a big issue. So a lot of investors that have financial means to buy rental properties right now. And I know a lot of them, they're still stay in the sideline. I'll tell you, fast forward 5 years from now, you go back to today, those people stay in the sidelines because of fear, because of all the negative noise they have. They're going to regret it. I've been doing this for 20 years. 20 years ago, somebody could have bought a property in Florida for 125,000 and they didn't buy. Every 10-year cycle, people could have bought, they could have, would have, should have. Then you fast forward 10 years, they have all kinds of regrets. 10 years from now, I was like, it's like back to today, it's the same vicious cycle. Oh, what should have bought back in 2023 when all the chaos going on out there, but I didn't, and you regret it. You lost the 10 years precious time. Time is a precious commodity. Time. It's all about time. Investing is about time. Each day you're not investing, you lose that day. You lose that time to be invested. You cannot ever take it back. As you get older, you lose that time. So you need to, every precious time you have, you need to buy an asset. Time will work for your asset, whether it's an income property or any kind of asset out there. That's how it is.